What's up guys, welcome back to Deck Tech for Decks, and we're talking about brackets again. My last video was kind of mixed, so I did want to go through and talk about it more clear now that I've had some time to think about it. The fact that it was so mixed makes me think I didn't get my point across well, or maybe I went too harsh and people are just harping on me because this is something that they're trying to do to help the format, and I'm just being really harsh and it comes off as, you know, just shitting on their whole idea. I do want to say I think brackets could be very cool for the format. I just think they need to do what they're intending to do, which is shorten the Rule Zero conversation. Right now, if I tell you I have a 2, that really doesn't tell you much. It doesn't tell you why it's a 2, and if you look at the differences between 1 and 2, besides the word on the top, all you get is no looping extra turns. I'm a very literal person here, and maybe that's my fault, but if I send someone this bracket 1 description and tell them to build a deck using these restrictions, I'm going to ignore that top header that says super casual, and I'm going to look at the restrictions of the super casual, category. So I'm going to assume that this top header right here that says this is going to be a super casual deck, and I'm going to assume the fact that I follow the rules down below makes the deck super casual. Maybe I don't think that's what people are saying. I think people are saying the part that it says be super casual is a part of the restrictions down here, which makes little to no sense for me. So if that's part of it, I do think that's a problem as well. Another thing I got a lot of backlash on is they're like, I don't think you watched Gavin's video and I don't think you read the article because this take is wild. I read the article and watched the video. I just think what he says in the article does not match the bracket system, and I think that's a very fair criticism. If the bracket system is not matching what you're saying in the article, it kind of is just going to lead to more confusion, and then people are going to end up throwing the bracket system out the window and just sticking to Rule Zero, which is another problem. I don't want them to go through all this effort to create a bracket system and then the bracket system just get thrown away because it's way too complicated. And make no mistake, I think right now it's way too complicated, way too vague, and doesn't do a good job to represent a deck's power level, which is exactly what this is supposed to do. When I say, hey, I'm bringing a 2 to the table, you should have a good understanding of what I'm bringing. But whenever I look at my deck list through Moxfield, and it's kind of funny, if you guys want to go through your Moxfield deck list, they've already sorted them in their brackets, so you can kind of see if this is working or not just by looking at the decks. And from my decks, it's not working at all. My Ketramos deck that I think is pretty gross is a 2 right now. This deck has 2 card combos in it. They accidentally snuck in there, my bad. But Magic's hard, sometimes synergistic cards go off and you get a 2 card combo. And then it has my Slimes Against Humanity deck, which is barely working, but still sometimes can eke out a turn 7 win at a 4. So again, the bracket system, not perfect right now, and that's why I'm giving my critiques. I also saw a lot of people saying, hey, you're being way too hard on a beta. This is not finished yet. The reason I'm giving critiques now is because during a beta is when you want to say stuff. You guys should not be waiting until this is fully released to have your opinion on it. You guys should be very vocal right now. That way we end up with a system that works. So what am I going to do today? Today I've built a hard bracket system that I think would be useful for players to go off of. And this isn't a use mine instead of theirs scenario. This is a here's mine to show off what I think would be helpful to speed up the Rule Zero conversation. You can't get rid of it. I understand that. I said that in my last video. I was just riffing there, my bad. I like to create videos right off when something gets released because I think the raw emotion of it's kind of cool. Maybe that's the wrong thing to do here, but if you guys want to see me crash out, here's that video. And now let's get into this bracket system that I've come up with. And again, this isn't a, hey, use this is the best. This is just something I would like to see them implement. I want more hard rules. I want more deck building restrictions that I can read, not that I can infer. Because if we have to infer the deck building restrictions on the bracket themselves, that's not going to get rid of Rule Zero. That's just going to make things more complicated. So let's get some hard deck building restrictions. Let's not have words be our deck building restriction here. And I think that's where my video got lost in the sauce. I think people are like, you have to look at the words too, along with the restriction. And my brain just didn't see that. My brain said, the words here, follow that, and the words here are your deck. Not so, if that makes sense. Very literal. Anyway, let's get into it. The bracket system I would like to see them move towards is going to be a 3 bracket system that has 2 additional brackets that are hard to find. And we're going to talk about those 2 other brackets later, but for now, let's talk about the 3 brackets people are mostly going to be using. At bracket 1, we have the super casual with no combos, no tutors, no free interaction, no extra turn spells, no fast mana, and no land destruction. Rituals do not count as fast mana, and the fact that we can use no tutors does not mean you can't play Kodama's Reach. We all know what we're talking about here. At bracket 2, we have no free interaction, no fast mana, no mass land destruction, no extra turn spells, no 2-card infinite combos, max 3 tutors, deck should not win consistently before turn 7. I really like putting the deck should not win consistently before turn 7 in this bracket, because that means if someone's playing a deck and they know that it follows these restrictions but is winning turn 5 very consistently, that means it should not belong in this bracket, and I think that's something that's missed on the bracket system now. I want a hard, this is not okay if your deck is winning faster than this. And then finally, at bracket 3, we have free interaction is okay, mass land destruction is encouraged, that's a joke obviously, no 2-card infinite combos, play your mean commanders here, and finally, the deck consistently wins faster than turn 7 or is a heavy mid-range deck, should not win faster than turn 6 consistently. This means if your deck's winning at turn 4, it probably doesn't belong in bracket 3. Now I want to talk about the 2 other brackets that are very loosely described but very easy to understand. The first one comes before bracket 1 and it's just called Jank. This is your deck that's taking 10, 12 turns to get there. It's got tutors in it. It breaks all the rules of the other 3 brackets, but it's just not good. It's janky. Everybody's wearing a hat. Everybody knows what decks they're talking about here, and it's easy to describe when you're having that rule 0 conversation, and it speeds up that rule 0 conversation. It's like, why are you running demonic tutor? It's like everything's wearing a hat. It's a bad deck. Everyone's going to understand. And then the last bracket is CEDH. Again, super easy to understand. Everybody knows what this is here. And again, hey, if someone's using the jank bracket to pub stomp you with a stacks list, that's just not okay. As Gavin said, bad actors are going to do bad actor things. And if someone says they're playing jank and they just stacks you out because it goes above turn 10, they're just not being accurate with their deck. Hopefully that's going to help describe what I'm looking for when I'm talking about the bracket system. 1 very clearly defines what a 1 is, 2 very clearly defines it, and 3 very clearly defines it as well. Now I think you guys noticed at 3 I said play your mean commanders here. This is your Corvolds, this is your Winotas, these are the big bads of casual, the pub stompers, Voja, and I do want to give credit where credit is due. I think the game changers list is pretty cool, but I don't think we need to put that in the restriction of the brackets. I think the game changers could be very cool just as a, hey, we're looking at these cards. These are very powerful casual cards. That way, when new players get into casual, they can look at this game changers list and understand that maybe I should tell people that I'm playing this in my casual deck because it's a game changer. So I think the game changers helps with rule 0 because it says, hey, you should let this player know that this card is in your deck, but I don't think we need to add game changers to the deck restrictions as long as it's following in, you know, the turn order. If you're winning way faster than turn 7, it's not a 2. If you're winning way faster than turn 5, it's not going to be a 3. You're probably closer to the CEDH range where people win as soon as turn 2 or 5 depending on mid-range or turbo, right? So if we follow when the deck's supposed to win and the restrictions, you're going to actually end up with a good representation of what the deck is going to operate at. I've been using these rules as a soft base to gauge people's decks for years, and it's led me to having more consistent games where everybody's doing the thing and everybody has an even deck. So I just wanted to share that. One last thing before we end off the video, I just want to talk about the game changers and how green got away with murder. Again, I like the idea of game changers. I don't think they need to be in the brackets, but again, green got away with murder. We're talking about 3 cards and Craterhoof Behemoth doesn't even make the list. Craterhoof Behemoth is probably responsible for most casual kills on a card. If it's not there, it's close, right? Everybody's lost to Craterhoof Behemoth and a lot. not a little bit, right? So I think that needs to be addressed. Additionally, we're just allowing every green tutor, even worldly tutor. There's a lot of powerful green tutors, especially Eldritch Evolution, that can just sacrifice a 5 CMC creature and go ahead and grab some really broken creatures, right? You could even sacrifice a 6 CMC creature and grab Craterhoof to win the game. And if I'm a new player and I'm looking at all the black tutors getting put on this, game changer list, and none of the green tutors getting put on the game changer list, it tells me that green tutors are socially accepted and not as powerful as black tutors, which is true, but also kind of disingenuous. If your black tutor's searching up your creature combo, that makes it just as powerful as a green tutor, right? So it's all about the deck building, and I think it could shift the deck building in a way where creature combos become more abundant because creature combo or creature tutors become socially accepted, which I think, again, disingenuous. I think creature tutors are extremely powerful. It matters what you're grabbing, not the type of card you're grabbing. If a combo piece is a combo piece is a combo piece. So that's something I'd want them to look at as well. Green got away with murder. It's already the most powerful casual color. So yes, please take a look at that. I hope this helped convey my thoughts in a more constructive way. Again, sorry for the crash out, but when you're recording a video raw and you're passionate about Magic, you just kind of say what's exactly on your mind, and yeah, I said exactly what was on my mind. With that being said, guys, I hope this helps and clears things up a little bit, and I hope you enjoyed the video.